You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Mom deserves the best, and there's no better place to shop for Mother's Day than Whole Foods Market. They're your destination for unbeatable savings, from premium gifts to show-stopping flowers and irresistible desserts. Start by saving 33% with Prime on all body care and candles. Then get a 15-stem bunch of tulips for just $9.99 each with Prime. Round out Mom's menu with festive rosé, irresistible berry chantilly cake, and more special treats. Come celebrate Mother's Day at Whole Foods Market.
This is the Dan Levator Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I don't have a recent history in front of me, but when you go down losing your first two home games in a playoff series, you're pretty much done. And I don't know if Jamal Murray's going to get healthier over the next 10 days or so, but the Denver Nuggets have been held to 80 points in a game since when? Can you guys give me any idea when the last time was that the Denver Nuggets shot low 30% and scored 80 points in a basketball game with Jamal Murray going 3 for 18?
You played this game yesterday, and it was the last game, so, I mean...
The game I played yesterday was what's the last time Jokic had 6 turnovers and Stugotz countered with he had 7 turnovers a game ago. And I was really checkmated in that spot.
Sorry.
I don't think I'm going to be in this one, though. I think I'm going to win this
Feeling
game.
Good?
When I ask you guys, when's the last time the Denver Nuggets scored 80 in a basketball game? I don't think you're going to come up with a lot of answers for me that have Jokic playing in that game. But
January 25th, they had 84 points against the New York Knicks.
Not 80.
Yeah, it's a dreadful point total. And can you guys help me? I mean, you help me with this because I don't like to say series are done on champions. But when you lose the first two at home, and I've got no evidence that your point guard is going to be able to do anything with what it is that they do on perimeter defense.
And you win one without Gobert. I mean...
Well, not win one, but blow them out.
Yeah.
And again, I think the most important thing in that series that is something that isn't being talked about enough when it comes to this postseason. Load management didn't do shit for keeping the important players healthy this time of year, and the injuries are a problem. And Minnesota might be able to beat Denver under all circumstances, but when Jamal Murray is like this, then you can let Jokic, you can bother Jokic, and you can let him get his, and where else is Denver going to get their scoring? It's not going to come from Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter if Jamal Murray's not creating. Like, he's a pivotal piece to how it is all of those ingredients work offensively. And he's got a problem on his hands because I'm not sure there are two guys on the perimeter who are on one team who are going to bother him more than these two guys who are pretty suffocating with their athleticism. And Stugotz, I think, as Juju takes his victory lap, we've had the changing of the guard, right? Like, because people are now talking about Anthony Edwards in breathless terms, and wait till they get a load of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in this round and the next round, because there are a whole lot of people discovering these players right now.
Yeah, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards are both excellent players on both sides of the ball that America is going to fall in love with. Anthony Edwards probably more so for a couple of reasons. One, he has a very, very outgoing personality. Number two, he's American as opposed to Canadian. And
number 3 is not on that commercial.
Number 4, his shoes are spectacular.
Number 5, he could jump. I mean,
Dan, to answer a couple of your questions, number 1, the last time the Nuggets scored 80 points in a game was 2018 against the Spurs. They lost 112-80.
Before Jokic, in other words, before like he was really the
2018. No, he was. I mean, he was
before he was
good.
a star.
Okay, before he was MVP, sure. And then your other question, as far as teams losing the first 2 games at home and come back to win the series, it's happened 6 times in NBA history.
When's the last time that Bulls-Wade team that as an 8 seed almost advanced?
Well, that's almost coming back, right?
Oh, yeah, but the team that went down 0-2, who is it, Boston?
Boston last year.
Yeah.
Last year it happened.
2023 Warriors against the Kings.
Yes.
It is hard to come back from this under all circumstances, especially hard if your point guard is hurt. And he's not right, and I don't know when he's going to get right. And it's an enormous injury. He might play through it the way Embiid played through it, but it makes them a different team than the one that's a champion.
They're saying he might even get suspended for his antics yesterday.
Can we show some of those antics? Because Stugotz and Cody correctly corrected me, as opposed to what's been happening the last couple of days where I get incorrected. Mm-hmm. But they said that I said the opposite of a heating pad, which was an ice pack. He had not thrown an ice pack. He threw a heating pad.
2-0-2.
And that's right. The Bruins are now 3-0-2 against the Panthers this season, according to Stugotz, even though they're 5-0 against the Panthers this season.
They're 1-0 in their last one.
They're 0-1 in their last one, according to Stugotz, because he doesn't know how to read the NHL standings, the overtime rules, or anything. We'll get to Panthers in a second, because losing 5-1 at home, I'm as scared of the Bruins as I am of Tampa, incidentally, if you're a Panthers fan, because that Bruins team is every bit as good as the Panthers, and that's no slight on the Panthers, and have beaten them every time they played them. So we'll get to that in just a second. But let me see all of the angles that we have, again, please, of Jamal Murray throwing things on the court in frustration. And also, let's get to Stugotz's, what top 5 list do you have? Just healing devices? Top 5 healing devices?
Because Greg and I love a good heating pad, and Dan, you don't go all willy-nilly with a heating pad. They're valuable. People care about them. They do.
Right, and anybody could have slipped on that. The referee, the opposing team, your team, the Joker. God forbid the Joker would have fell on that. Oh, my God, the Joker of the year.
Number 5, Stugotz, or do you have some OLI on top 5 heating pads or top 5 healing devices of all time?
I do. I have, that's my voice. That's the nicotine, my number 1 nick of all time. I have 4 OLIs.
All right, and it's just healing devices.
Healing devices, yes.
All of medicine and science and history at our disposal.
Correct, yes. Greg and I put this together.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a collab?
Yes.
All right.
I didn't add much. I'm going to say that.
Okay,
so
I'll read them, Greg.
But it's a top 5 list featuring Greg Cody is what you're saying.
Correct.
All right, very good. OLI.
Theragun.
With Theragun, wow.
That's an OLI.
Yeah.
I love my dad acting shocked at the list, even though he helped do it.
Strong. Theragun.
Who else is OLI?
Salon pause. Love those things.
Yeah, love saying the word.
Yeah.
Salon pause.
I legitimately don't know what you're talking about. Don't have any idea.
You don't know what
is.
salon paws are?
Don't know.
Whoa,
I not only do I not know what that is.
Billy has them.
Okay, of course he does. I wish he hadn't held it up only because I would have tried to spell that. I thought it was 2 words. I thought it was a salon and like an animal's paws. But what is that? What does that do? Forgive me. How does that heal?
Well, this one's a pain relieving patch. So you put it on, your lower back. Yeah. Here, my shoulder's been, acting. My trick shoulder, as they call it, has been acting up a bit. So I have one here to put on later. Smells delicious.
I mean, which is the one that Shaq does? Because I associate
Icy Hot patch. Yeah, okay. And then you guys remember when Icy Hot had the vibrating patch that you would put on and it would shake? And that was supposed to do something to you?
It sure did shake.
Man up.
OLI, Stugotz.
60-minute deep tissue. Not 90, not 120, 60 minutes. Too much, too sore.
When's the last time Genesis came by, speaking of which?
No idea.
I invited her last night. She was out of town.
Oh.
And you're wrong that 90 minutes isn't better than 60 minutes.
It's too much. It hurts.
And you're wrong.
I'm talking deep tissue, not Swedish, okay?
I get it. I got it. I understand what you're saying.
List.
Yes, it is. Okay. More. Well,
more.
It's Cody's too. It's not just yours.
It's our list.
It's not just your list.
You're
it's
right.
also featuring Greg Cody.
Yeah.
Fine.
OLI.
Ben Gay.
Old classic. That, man.
It is an old classic.
All of those would be good as top 5. So let's hear the top 5. Number 5.
3 Tylenol. Not 2, not 4. 4 is dangerous. Might not be able to drive. 3 is the perfect amount.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is 3 Tylenol the perfect amount? Number Because I think that's bad. I think that's also bad for you.
That's telling on yourself.
That's headed toward a
When 2 doesn't do it for you
painkiller
anymore,
addiction.
you got other stuff going on when 2 doesn't do it for you.
And you got to take the 3 Tylenol with spit like Wild Bill Cody. No water allowed.
That's true.
What?
Love it.
Thank you.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, my dad always took pills with spit.
Thank you.
That's tough as shit.
He,
Like
he-
Wild Bill,
He
yeah.
took it. He took it as a real sign of something. I'm not sure what. But he his whole life he took pills with spit. Do I do it? Hell no.
We talked about this on Cinephobe. In the movies, nobody ever takes pills with water. They just throw it in the back of their gullet and go, and that's it.
Damn right.
That's how you do it.
Damn right. What? Like what? What is? What?
Like if
Bill
Ethan
Cody.
Hunt did that in the Mission Impossible movies, and he's like, "Oh, you're saving the world, but you need water to chug down this Tylenol."
you
No,
gotta-
you're gonna.
Yeah, you got a bad headache. There's no water around. What are you gonna do? Suffer?
I understand, but what if there's water around? You're choosing this as an option, even if there's water.
No,
around.
Wild
You
Bill
don't
did.
need it.
Yeah.
You don't need water
Right.
for a lot of things we use water for. You don't have to wet your toothbrush. Do a dry toothbrush.
Waste not, want not.
Yeah.
Throw them in there, tilt the head back.
And
That's
you
it.
know it.
And you know it.
Thank you.
That was kind of what happened to your energy level. The and you know it was kind of. I'm not used to them coming out lazy, indifferent.
It was an afterthought, quite frankly.
Yeah, can you do better?
I can do better, but I only do better when it's warranted. You know.
I'm sorry? What?
I need inspiration. What's my motivation? Because being paid for doing a show would be a pretty good
Okay,
warranted
but
for
look,
having the proper energy.
Okay, I respect the phrase, and you know it. Okay, I try not to overuse it. I try not to use it in an exaggerated manner when, quite frankly, brushing your teeth without water is something that not a lot of people do know. So I said,
Brushing your teeth?
Yeah, brushing your teeth without water. Do a dry.
Or are we talking about?
a dry brush?
Did I miss something there?
I
We were
feel
talking
like you
about
need
pills.
water for the
Both.
suds, for the toothpaste,
No,
like
you don't.
water. Yeah, I
No.
mean you don't need it, but it just makes everything a little bit better.
In your opinion?
Dan, I'll back up Greg on this one. They say you're not supposed to rinse out. You're supposed to brush your teeth and just leave that toothpaste in there until
Right.
it dries up.
Thank you, Amin.
Let the toothpaste do its work.
Sometimes
right?
I just chug fluoride on the way in.
Get it, Dan?
That's a different argument than whether you should wet your toothbrush before you get started, just to have a less dry and abrasive experience with your gums.
Well, you have the
want
spit in your
abrasive.
mouth. Yeah.
You want abrasive.
Exactly right.
It's our list.
You know,
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do. Here's why.
So I went to the dentist last week. Guess what? No cavities. Good for
you.
Thank you.
Way to go.
And you want like a soft bristled brush because you don't want it to be too abrasive. Because if you're like really going for it, you're gonna give yourself gum disease.
Gen Z over here.
Yeah.
Back in
No
my
cavities.
day, you went with a Brillo pad.
You did it with sand.
Yeah. You know what you do is you grind up some charcoal.
Sand and a stick is the way I used to brush my teeth
right.
when I was a kid.
Greg, before you go to the dentist, do you have one last big brush? Like, do you do
Oh,
it?
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the time you floss.
Yes.
Yeah.
When's the last time you flossed? Today.
Put it on the poll, please.
An hour ago. Right.
At Le Batard Show, just put it on the poll. Do you do one last big brush before you go to the dentist?
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. When you travel, do concerns back home nag you? Did you lock up? Did you leave a window open? That's why I recommend investing in Simply Safe Home Security today for award-winning security and peace of mind wherever your summer plans take you. I've had Simply Safe in my home for many years now. The peace of mind it gives me, especially during the summertime when I'm all over the place, is incredible. Because I know the things I care about, the things I value back home. I can always keep an eye on it using Simply Safe's indoor and outdoor cameras. So do me a favor. Before you head out on your next vacation, make sure to protect your whole home with Simply Safe's variety of indoor and outdoor cameras, plus add sensors to detect break-ins, fires, floods, and more. It's backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, no contracts to worry about, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Simply Safe has given me and many of my listeners real peace of mind. I want you to have it too. So right now, get 20% off any new Simply Safe system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Dan Le Batard.
Let me get some golf ASMR.
Stugotz.
Oh, me.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Today's episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is brought to you by Peloton.
I want to ask you a question. When Mike Ryan points something out there, he's giving people a glimpse when he says, if you're doing 3 Tylenol, there are an assortment of things that we're either headed to or coming out of that are warning signs and signals. And you've been coming in here limping and talking about how your back is again hurting because you're taking too many flights and that you've called your doctor.
Too many drives, yeah.
And you've called your doctor and said you need another epidural shot. And he says, this is not the way this should work. You need to be doing other things for your back. Do we need to be worried about your pain right now, the amount of pain that you have?
No, I put a Salonpa on my back where it hurts. I feel great now. I'm feeling better. I do. Concern probably last week because I was limping around here, but I have taken care of the problem. Not the way my doctor wants me to. I love the big needle. I do. It's a cure-all. It solves everything. He would not give me the big needle, but Salonpas work for now.
He wouldn't? He refused? Your doctor is moderating how much healing he gives you because he thinks that you need to take care of yourself better?
He needs 2 years separation before he can administer another big needle.
This is exactly how Michael Jackson died.
What?
Too many big needles.
I love a big needle.
Number 4.
Number 4, a heating pad, Dan.
A classic.
Hall of Fame.
It is a classic.
Too high.
I like the 3-setting heating pad. You know, it's got 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots. I love that heating pad. Old school.
You put it on high for as long as you can stand it.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Then you take it down a notch and take it down another notch. Exactly. It's great.
They say don't fall asleep with it on, please. Just a suggestion.
You guys, you mean to tell me Theragun doesn't make your top 5 and the heating pad, a regular heating pad?
It's our list.
Juju, put it on the poll, please. Is a Theragun better than the heating pad? Number 3.
Nature Bee.
I mean, that's an old school joke that he's making there. From before you were on our show, Stugotz would spend time with someone who had a blue leisure suit.
The great Mike Buck.
Yes. I was getting there. Blue leisure suit.
NatureBee.com.
It was one of our best and daily sponsors, and Stugotz was very good at getting money from sponsors. Number 2.
The Dove Healer.
Another classic. And I think that's a bracelet that someone wore in order to get better of all that ails you, including sadness.
Yes.
And
this is a sponsor?
Yes. Yeah, they spent about $11,000 a month for about 4 months. I think they paid for 2 of those months. That's how we did it at $7.90 the ticket. But Murph convinced me if you stick this thing on any part of your body that hurts, the pain will go away.
Hold on.
Murph was our CFO. Yeah.
You guys went on air.
That's right.
Hawking.
That's right.
A bracelet that would heal you all your pain.
Yeah, well, I want to see what his number 1 is because I'm about to give you another one that's better than both of those two. Number 1.
Straight bag of ice.
Another Hall of Famer.
That's a first ballot.
30 minutes on, 30 minutes off, 30 minutes on. You might want to do some heat in between, but 30 minutes. Straight bag of ice. Larry Bird style.
Juju also.
Tom Seaver?
Also put
Weird.
Steve Carlton.
Lefty.
Stick your left arm in a bucket of rice.
You just got the big unit thing on your shoulder.
I love being able to share this with you and Lucy because this is from a different time. There was a period of time that Stugotz was hawking something called New Bag, which is a eucalyptus scent in the event that you didn't want to shower for just your nether regions.
Hold on now.
Yeah,
I'm not joking.
Yeah, ball spray. It was really ahead of the game.
Yep.
It was really years ahead of its time.
I think we had a feature with that sponsorship.
Sack of the week.
Sack of the week, yeah.
The NFL
I think we might actually have imaging in the day drive. Let me look for it.
Let's see if we
can.
Let's see if we can find how many months was that something that was on our air, a eucalyptus spray in the event that you wanted to not shower.
Wait.
And now it's time for the Sack of the Week. The Sack of the Week is presented by New Bag, the iconic male freshening spray made by a local skincare company. You can get New Bag online at nubag.tv.
TV. I miss the big boys.
Yeah, me too.
So we would do that, and then we would play like Freeney gets a Brady. And that would be the segment.
I'd like to state for the record and for history that Juju Gotti is wearing a hat that comes down to about his nose, sunglasses, and was trying to hide behind the computer. And I could still see all of the shame on his face being associated with how disgusting this show is.
New bag.
He wanted to leave, he wanted a door, a portal from where he is to someplace else that wasn't in this room with these disgusting people.
Those sponsors are what sports radio is all about. I mean, if you're selling sports radio and you don't have something like New Bag on your station, you're not selling sports radio.
The top shows right now, they all have a wipe of some sort. Like New Bag was well ahead of its time.
Yep. Dude wipes.
This is like finding out that Harvey Dent actually
Cody, go sit in the penalty box. There's a reason he phrased it that way. Get out. Just get out. Why? Because we give commercial advertising to sponsors who pay us. Nobody else.
Like New Bag.
I didn't know that.
Why? Take your shirt and your 2 short shorts and get out of here.
Sometimes we do it with clients who don't pay us. I mean,
Greg got on the same shirt as Craig from Friday for the Other America.
I thought Mike Buck was like the founder of Nature Bee. He was
that was Jeff Cook.
No, it still exists. I'm on their website.
Oh, yeah.
Is Mike still around? Because Mike was a local DJ from Hawaii that Jeff Cook contracted to do these calls.
I actually have a clip of Mike Buck.
Aloha, Dan Le Batard. This is Mike Buck in Honolulu. Remember the Nature Bee God?
So Mike Buck.
Aloha.
Was that a coupler?
Good audio.
Mike Buck is now the public information officer at the state of Hawaii since 2023.
A perfect job for him.
Yeah. He's he looks great.
PIO.
Not a gray hair.
It's all that bee pollen.
Mm-hmm. Clean green New Zealand.
Didn't you, Stugotz, have some sort of business card making you an ambassador for Nature Bee, a bee-assador?
Yes, I did. I was very proud of it. I mean,
you don't have it anymore?
No.
What?
They stopped spending. I got rid of the card.
They spent a lot. They were with us for a long time.
They were our biggest advertiser for many, many years. Crazy.
I Googled New Bag. It does not exist anymore. It doesn't even exist on the internet. Like, there's no mention of it.
Check the Dove Healer.
Did you spell it with a U? I think there was an umlaut.
It was so far ahead of its time, I mean, that they couldn't survive. We should do a documentary. Meadowlark should do a documentary on how ahead of the time it was on men being disgusting. Oh, wow. They found an old photo of the blue leisure suit and Mike Buck having exactly the hair you would think that he would have. He was a titan in the industry. Thank you, Video, for finding that.
Stugotz is as high as I imagined.
So young, too.
I mean, 3 Tylenol.
Yeah.
That face is
that might be 4.
That face is thin. Both those faces are thin right there. They're much thinner than they are now.
But even back then, you could see like unhealthiness in my future. I mean,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah, thanks.
How many Tylenol was Ben Affleck on?
That is something. Hold on a second here.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
You're good.
Ben Affleck got a lot of criticism yesterday on our show when we did 2 or 3 segments too many on the Tom Brady roast. And Ben Affleck was one of the big losers from the night. I really was startled and remain startled that Ben Affleck fled the stage without like dapping up anybody, hugging anybody. Like he just beelined for, man, that wasn't good what I just did. I'd like to do what Juju just did and run away from my shame and this participation in this event. That was very hard what I did. They made me go after all of those people because I'm a famous person and I'm not a comedian and I didn't have anything funny. Let me get out of here. This was not good for me.
He seemed nervous. He was fidgety.
That last joke was a doozy as well, so I wouldn't want to dap out football players after that either.
What are you implying, Mike?
Teeth.
Oh.
I mean, you're looking like you need to say something, want to say something, but nothing's coming out of your mouth.
There's no trace on the internet of the Dove Healer.
Oh, come on.
I swear to God, you guys are
Murph
just
swear by it.
You guys are making these things up.
There is no carbon. It's left no carbon footprint. There's nothing that's been left behind.
It was 2005.
Yeah,
it's a freewheeling time.
Different time.
This is
Check
my theory.
MySpace.
This is my theory. Stugotz created a shell company that had all these fake products that then sponsored the station, so he could turn around and say, "Look, see, here we go. We're earning money for everything. We're revenue generating." Yeah. Because there's not a mention, not an old website, Not an old commercial.
Yeah, we show billing, not collections. I mean,
Mike, for a long time, has wanted to do an oral history of this show because people like you, Amin, and Lucy would find fascinating some of the stuff that was happening before we got this parasail up in the air. Because imagine Stugotz running a station and taking money from anybody who would give it, again, new bag. Like, ahead of their time or not, those commercials for Sack of the Week were, here's a fresh eucalyptus scent in the event you don't have time to wash.
I smell like an old bag. I need a new bag.
From the Beacider.
That would have been...
Eucalyptus was very strong in that. It stayed with you for days. I liked it, though.
Yeah.
I was fresh. Every time you do the thing on the pit, just see how you are. It's important in South Florida during football season anyways.
Did you just smell your finger?
No, I mimic smelling my finger. I mean, but that's what everyone does. You take the temp. Oh, I'm crazy.
Everyone is talking about magnesium. It's all you hear about. But why? What do we know about magnesium? Well, magnesium is the #1 mineral that 75% of Americans are deficient in. If you are a woman over 35, magnesium will help you rediscover balance, energy, and vitality. Magnesium supports more than 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including those involved in hormonal balance. From functional medicine doctors to mental well-being and female hormone experts, we all know that magnesium is the one mineral to improve all aspects of well-being and health. But which one? Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, the trusted choice recommended by leading experts with 7 best-absorbed forms of magnesium to ensure your body receives the support it needs for overall well-being. Go to bioptimizers.com/balance today and use code BALANCE10 for 10% off. Support your journey to wellness at bioptimizers.com/balance. Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, your foundation to optimal health and vitality.
Dan Le Batard.
Greg Cody of the Miami Herald. He's actively playing defense against my ability to do the show because what are you laughing at? You're just laughing at
Honey Boo Boo is embroiled in controversy. It's funny to me. Sorry.
Stugotz.
He couldn't stop laughing just looking at the picture of Honey Boo Boo. That doesn't sound healthy. It's his laughter.
You're fantastic.
We can't make him laugh like that. It's how he's going to die. Right here, just laughing and coughing.
I want to die like that.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I mean, I would like your expertise on something here because I am watching the sport of basketball and playoff basketball specifically change so much in the last 5 or 10 years of whatever the Warriors have done to the sport and everyone trying to catch up to the Warriors and what they're doing, that I find myself like legitimately confused by some of the things I see in the playoffs. Just the amount of stuff happening at the rim because people are guarding against the three-pointer and leaving the rim exposed. The style of play that the Pacers play where they score 117 last night and they're now 0-3 in the playoffs when they score less than 120 because they play faster than everyone else. But the thing I wanted to ask you specifically is, it is, of course, asinine to me that anybody would be comparing anyone playing in these playoffs to Michael Jordan. But now, after seeing Jimmy Butler put up Michael Jordan numbers, and Jalen Brunson has recently done something in the playoffs that's never been done, scoring 40 again and again and again efficiently, he's putting up numbers that have not been seen, not even by Michael Jordan. So what happens after the game last night, and I love Jalen Brunson, at least in part because some of what he's doing is confusing to me. It's like Paul Pierce in a smaller body. It's like you should be more athletic if you're going to hit all of the mid-range stuff because you can score against anybody. And here after the game is now Jalen Brunson getting Michael Jordan stuff.
What's telling you that you have to score? No one scored 40 in 4 games since Michael Jordan. What's telling you you have to do this right now? Michael Jordan?
Stop.
And I think that's Stugotz's reaction. It's my reaction. And the thing I wanted to ask you is, should we get used to this, that the numbers have been so distorted that people are going to put up Michael Jordan numbers now and they're not going to be Michael Jordan, and then we're going to do this stuff where we compare them to Michael Jordan?
I think the numbers have leveled out from where we were early in the season, where it felt like every week someone was getting 60 or 70 points. There was a clear code red called in the league office, and they said, hey, man, the 90s are back, and everyone's been fighting ever since. I mean, a lot of these playoffs have been exemplified by wrestling matches all over the floor, and everyone's wondering where the foul call is. It's what made the end of last night so surprising, is that they would call a very benign moving screen like that after 47 and a half minutes of just hand-to-hand combat. But I think what Jalen Brunson is doing is legitimately remarkable. Like, I don't think that's a case of, well, it's the game has changed and, it's easier to score now. I think he's doing something quite remarkable in the face of very physical defense, maybe not by the Pacers, but certainly by the Sixers in the last round.
But Jimmy Butler did that too, and neither of these people are Michael Jordan. How are they putting up numbers that Michael Jordan never put up? Like, how is that happening if the players I know to not be Michael Jordan, even in this era, like they are not comparatively the two guys we're talking about? If you tell me Anthony Edwards, you want to enter that realm with a 22-year-old growing, I'd say okay. But Jimmy Butler and Jalen Brunson in this era are not separating themselves from the guys in that league who can be compared to to Michael Jordan.
I would say Jalen Brunson is quickly approaching the part where, yes, he is on that list.
It's 40 games per night, Dan. I mean,
40 points.
40 points.
Michael Jordan's 4 points, 4 games in a row with 40 points happened in the finals. So
yes,
like
right.
Stugotz say, let's just
do it in the finals.
You dig me?
Right. Plus, Brunson is taken out. Biggest possession last night, Dan. He's on the bench because he's a defensive liability. Jordan was not. He was one of the best defensive players we've ever seen. It's ridiculous to compare anyone to Michael Jordan. It's why the guys don't want the comparison. There's a pressure that comes with it.
But Stugotz, I would say that almost no one who is talking about Michael Jordan in remembering him is talking about the defense. Next to no one is factoring that in. That's not they. In fact, before they go to defense, they go to clutch and things done in late moments that aren't defense. Even though the way he won against Utah, it wasn't even just the shot. It's that he made they pickpocketed Karl Malone in the post before that when they had the ball. Let's talk a little more about what happened last night, though. I mean, in real time, because I didn't think our show, at least in part because we're happy for Stugotz, and Stugotz is a Knicks fan. The Kid Mero is going to join us here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
I don't believe I was aghast, but not everyone here reacted the way the internet did to having that game decided with 12 seconds left by not a player.
We were aghast over here. Me, Juju, Tony, everyone was like, well, what kind of call was that? That was a crazy call to have at the end of the game. The only people who weren't aghast were Taylor and Stugotz.
And UConn, they weren't aghast. They seen this shit before.
Right.
Juju called that last night.
I mean, I've had 2 decades of misery. Can I get a couple of calls without people complaining about them? All right, we got some calls. We won the game. We took Indiana's best shot, and we still won the game. We won the game playing their pace. I mean,
their best shot has Halliburton scoring 6 points.
Well, if you want to blame someone, stop blaming the referees, because that guy is supposed to be an all-star. He's supposed to be their best player. He gave them nothing last night in Game 1. Nothing.
He's also hurt. He's another one.
I don't want to hear it. Everyone's hurt now.
Well, Brunson's not hurt.
I mean, you do have a max contract that's hurt. Of course, you're better without it, but
I've heard that they could use a second scorer, but they did put up 120 last night. And the end of that game, Stugotz, I just don't believe you'd be making any of these arguments if that illegal screen with 12 seconds.
I'd be blasting the referees, Dan. Your larger point of the Knicks putting up 121 with 5 players who are playing 40-plus minutes every single night, I'm not certain that's sustainable. I am concerned about the Knicks.
But it's not sustainable. I mean, it's sustainable against the Pacers. It's just not sustainable to win the championship.
Right.
They can beat the Pacers because Halliburton isn't healthy, and all of everything. We had a great time last night. We really did. It was really nice to have Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson around here. And one of the things about their analysis, I mean, you tell me, because I don't know how many. I know Mike's consuming just a ton of basketball podcasts, Maple Leaf podcasts. He's just snorting everything.
Mike is not consuming basketball.
Not basketball podcasts. Gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not.
He has the most annoying long-running bit now of like, oh, this happened in the NBA, and it's all like kind of this faux, oh, I'm not paying attention. Oh, Damon Stoudemire retired? When did that happen? Stuff like that. It is so damn annoying. It happens in text. It happens in real life. He came up to me today before the show while I was getting something to eat. He said, hey, I just realized today that there was a game one of Wolves Nuggets.
Had no idea. Swear to God. I thought that was game one last night. I looked at the series price and I was shocked. And it makes more sense now knowing that the Nuggets are down 0-2. No, it's not. It's not a bit. I've been traveling, but no, totally out of the loop. Had no idea Game 3 of the Magic Cavs series happened.
He does this while simultaneously updating me on like, oh, the Brickyard 7000.
Oh my God! What a race at Kansas Motor Speedway! Whoa. 1/100th of a second, the closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history. Wow. Kyle Larson's the best driver on the planet, as you were.
Before we get to that, the question I was going to ask you, is I have not heard what Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes did to Siakam last night and did to the Pacers in their analysis of that team at the end of games doesn't have what you need to have at the end of games. I have not heard former players. They went after Siakam in a way that caught me off guard.
Stack went after Siakam because of a very funny anecdote of playing pickup ball at the Rico Hines run at UCLA in the summertime, and he said Siakam's got no moves. And Stack is a very, that's a calling card of his. It's like, if you show yourself to be a certain way, it's hard to change his mind. But what Matt was talking about, and that I agreed, is that the Pacers need an offensive workhorse. And that Halliburton, as great as he is, he needs someone to make better, as opposed to doing what Jalen Brunson does, because that's not the kind of player he is.
Exactly, and it was proof in the pudding last night. Nembhard was taking the final shots of the game. They was doing plays for Nembhard, which is a big indictment on Halliburton and Siakam being the number one.
That's close.
That's cool.
Look at this finish at Kansas Motor Speedway.
Wow.
I mean, you don't get closer than that.
Oh, my God.
1/1000th of a second is the only way you can get closer than that? That's crazy.
We've left about that much for Greg Cody's thoughts.
Kentucky Derby was closer.
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. When you travel, do concerns back home nag you? Did you lock up? Did you leave a window open? That's why I recommend investing in Simply Safe Home Security today for award-winning security and peace of mind wherever your summer plans take you. I've had Simply Safe in my home for many years now. The peace of mind it gives me, especially during the summertime when I'm all over the place, is incredible. Because I know the things I care about, the things I value back home. I can always keep an eye on it using Simply Safe's indoor and outdoor cameras. So do me a favor. Before you head out on your next vacation, make sure to protect your whole home with Simply Safe's variety of indoor and outdoor cameras, plus add sensors to detect break-ins, fires, floods, and more. It's backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, no contracts to worry about, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Simply Safe has given me and many of my listeners real peace of mind. I want you to have it too. So right now, get 20% off any new Simply Safe system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.